Marketing departments think you're a magpie. They dangle a shiny, massive number, like 200 megapixels in front of you, hoping you won't notice the engineering crime scene hiding behind it. Because here's the dirty little secret they leave off the box. In about 90% of real-world scenarios, this monster sensor gets absolutely smoked by a boring, ancient 12-megapixel camera. It's not an upgrade, it's a trap. And today, we're doing a little dissecting with AI. I'm going to show you the 3 hidden engineering factors that actually separate flagship cameras from the pretenders. And the #1 secret, it's a tool so aggressive, I call it the pixel dictator. But first, we need to talk about rain. To understand why the megapixel myth is total garbage, you have to understand the photosite. Think of your camera sensor as a floor covered in buckets, and light is the rain. A standard 12-megapixel sensor uses big, wide buckets. They catch a ton of rain, a ton of data, without trying. But to cram 108 million pixels onto that same chip, engineers have to shrink those buckets down to the size of a thimble. This is light starvation. You've sliced the pie into so many pieces that nobody gets a full bite. When you're in bright sunlight, fine, the thimble fills up. But the second you step indoors, that tiny bucket is empty. So the phone has to panic-amplify the signal. It screams into the void to find data that isn't there. That scream, that's noise, grain, ugly digital artifacts. You have 108 million pixels of static, but starving the sensor is just the appetizer. The real problems start when we try to process that mess. Here are the 3 computational secrets that save your photos from physics, counting down to the #1 AI god mode. Coming in at number 3 is a little physics buzzkill called the optical ceiling, or diffraction. Imagine trying to write The Lord of the Rings on a single grain of rice. Using this Sharpie, that's your camera. The paper is your sensor pixels, tiny, plentiful, ready for detail. But the pen is your lens aperture. Physics dictates that when light squeezes through a tiny smartphone hole, it spreads out, it blurs. On these high megapixel phones, the pixels are actually smaller than the blur circle of the lens itself. You aren't capturing high-definition reality. You are capturing high-definition blur. It's redundancy. It's like buying a 4K TV to watch VHS tapes. The lens physically cannot resolve the detail the sensor is asking for. So those extra 90 million pixels, they're just expensive filler. So if the lens is blurry and the pixels are starving, why do flagship photos look good? That brings us to secret number 2. We have to stop taking photos and start traveling in time. We have the time machine, or what engineers boringly call multi-frame fusion. A budget phone takes a photo. Click. 1 moment, 1 exposure, 1 chance to get it right. If the data is bad, too bad. A flagship doesn't take a photo, it takes a timeline. Before you even press the button, it's already buffering frames. Click. It grabs frames from the past, frames from the present, underexposed ones for highlights, and overexposed ones for shadow. Then, the neural processing unit, the brain, smashes them together. But here's the savvy part. It's not just stacking them. It's doing deep fusion. This is where it gets creepy. The AI looks at that noisy, blurry mess from our starving sensor and goes, I recognize that pattern. That's a sweater. And it literally hallucinates the texture back into existence. It's analyzing the noise patterns to reconstruct detail that the lens might have missed. It's CSI Miami, zoom and enhance. But it actually works. But there's a catch. Deep fusion is smart, but it's not aware. It doesn't know what it's looking at, just textures. For the camera to truly lie to you successfully, it needs to know what a face is. And that brings us to the big one. The #1 reason your camera beats a DSLR. Semantic segmentation. I call it the pixel dictator. Old cameras were dumb. They applied 1 filter to the whole image. Make it brighter, make it sharper. But that's a disaster. If you sharpen a tree, it looks great. If you sharpen a face, you look like you haven't slept in a week and have a skin condition. Semantic segmentation is the fix. The AI slices the image into layers. It says, you are sky, you are skin, you are grass. And then it discriminates. It bullies the pixels. It tells the sky, smooth out, get rid of that noise. It tells the hair, sharpen up, I want to see every strand. It tells your face, glow darling, and hide that pimple. It is essentially running Photoshop on your image, layer by layer, in the 12 milliseconds before you even see the preview. A 108 megapixel sensor can't do this efficiently. It's too busy trying to count to 100 million. It's drowning in data. the 12-megapixel flagship, it ignored the math and focused on the art. So next time a salesperson tries to sell you a phone based on a number that sounds like a winning lottery ticket, remember the thimble. Remember the Sharpie on rice. Photography isn't about capturing pixels anymore. It's about computing them. We stopped taking pictures years ago. Now we just ask the AI to paint them for us. If you want to know if your phone is a genius or a pretender, I've got more deep dives coming up. Hit that like button so the algorithm knows you have good taste. It's the only metric that actually counts. Stay skeptical.